Good morning. I'm Tom Hiles, Vice Chancellor for University Advancement, and it's beautiful Friday morning, and this is one of our most fun things that Chancellor Cartwright and I get to do. I'm so happy to see you here on this beautiful spring day. We are here to celebrate one family's long-standing support of Mizzou, and when you hear the story, you'll understand long-standing. With me on stage is Chancellor Alexander Cartwright, Dr. Jim Liu, a medical physicist who earned his bachelor's degree, master's degree, and PhD from the University of Missouri. And Jim is also joined on stage by his son, Philip, who's also a Mizzou alum and also worked in our office for a period of time and now is out on his own. I also see some familiar faces in the crowd. I'm not sure I saw the provost here. But we have members of the Chancellor's staff, deans, and directors. Thank you all for joining us. It's fitting this gift announcement kicks off our Donor Recognition Weekend, which is an opportunity to say thank you to all of our tremendous supporters. We're fortunate to have many alumni and donors with us, including members of the campaign cabinet, the Jefferson Club Board of Trustees, the Chancellor's Society, the Library Society, and the Legacy Society. Thank you all for joining us. With no further ado, let me turn it over to Chancellor Cartwright for our announcement.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning, everyone. It certainly is a beautiful morning. I tell people all the time that, the weather is always perfect here, the sun is always shining, and the birds are always chirping. So it's a great place to be. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here to celebrate a remarkable legacy of support for the University of Missouri. For 30 years, Dr. Jim and Melanie Liu have tirelessly supported our students. In 1988, they established the Liu-Him Scholarship Fund in honor of Jim's grandfather, who encouraged Jim to prioritize his education. With 3 degrees from Mizzou, as Tom said, a bachelor's in chemistry and a master's and doctorate in nuclear engineering, I think it's safe to say that Jim heeded his grandfather's advice. Although Jim and Melanie now reside in Southern California, where Jim is a medical physicist at the Huntington Memorial Hospital, Mizzou is still very much part of their lives. Jim is a lifetime member of the Mizzou Alumni Association, and both he and Melanie are members of the Jefferson Club and Columns Society. Jim and Melanie have also instilled their Mizzou pride and the importance of giving back in their 2 children, Stephanie and Philip. Stephanie, a 2013 graduate of our School of Law, is a Jefferson Club sustaining member, a Columns Society member, a Law Society member, and Mizzou Alumni Association Life member. And Philip, who earned his MBA from the Trulas College of Business in 2016, is a Jefferson Club sustaining member, a Columns Society member, the youngest member of the Davenport Society, and the Mizzou Alumni Association's first student life member. So this is really remarkable. Clearly, Jim and Melanie, and for that matter, the entire family, share this institution's passion and vision for student success. Our land-grant mission is our commitment to serve all of Missouri's citizens through opportunity and education. The Liu-Him Memorial Scholarship helps us fulfill this mission. It has helped more than 100 Missouri students with financial need attend Mizzou. In addition to expanding access, it also allows students to focus more on their studies, get involved in the campus community, and then leave here as successful Mizzou alumni who give back to our state and the world for decades to come. The Lius recognize that supporting our students is critical to our future and to the future of the communities we serve. And this year, as we celebrate the 30th anniversary since the first Liu-Him Memorial Scholarship was awarded, I am thrilled to announce yet another milestone. With Jim and Melanie's latest legacy gift to the Liu-Him Endowed Scholarship Fund, Their generosity now exceeds $2.2 million in lifetime giving. That's an extraordinary commitment to Mizzou. And as we near the $1.3 billion goal of our Mizzou Our Time to Lead campaign, with student success as one of our top priorities, we are honored to have such committed partners. The Lius certainly have spent a lot of time working with us to make all of this possible. I know that these scholarships will continue to create opportunities and ease financial burdens for even more of our students in the years to come. On behalf of the Mizzou family, I want to sincerely thank Jim and Melanie for your unwavering support of Missouri students and for helping us make Mizzou the university for Missouri. Jim, I think it's fair to say that you've made your grandfather proud. So thank you, and I'm now pleased to turn it over to you to say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Thank you, Chancellor Cartwright. Thank you, Tom, and all the staff from the Development Department. We worked very hard the last 2 years to establish the Charity Remainder Trust, and we did it. Thank you. Yes. I would like to thank the people that have helped me in the past so I can be here today. First of all, I would like to thank the taxpayer of Missouri who have paid for part of my education here in Mizzou. I don't want to sound like the Oscar Award speech, okay, but I do like to thank Dr. Logan, who is in the audience, Dr. Kennedy, and the late Dr. Philip Lee. They have been my mentor, advisor, and mostly friends for the last almost 40 years. Thank you, Bill and Bill. I was told by Andrea earlier that the Liu-Him Scholarship is 30 years old. Yeah, that really aged me. I started scholarship because I was looking for a way to pay back for what I had received from Mizzou. And after working for a few years in California, one Christmas, I received a bonus from work. I told my wife, Melanie, that we probably could live without that bonus. So why don't we give the bonus to a medical physics program so the student could benefit from it? And lucky for me, she said yes. So I approached UCLA medical physics program. At that time, I was an adjunct professor for the program. So they turned me down. They said that wasn't enough for any scholarship. So at one of the local alumni meetings, I approached a lady from the development department here at Mizzou. I forgot her name, but she was a law school graduate here. I remember that. And I asked her what she think about that. And she said, sure, Mizzou would love to help me to set up a scholarship as long as I'm willing to put money in every year. So we set up a scholarship. And as Chancellor Cartwright said, Liu-Him was my grandfather. He came from China to Hong Kong when he was about 10 years old. Sorry about it. When he got to Hong Kong, he had nothing but clothes on his back. He could not afford to pay the fare, so they took his tennis shoes away. He worked very hard for years selling vegetables on the street. And eventually he made enough money that he opened a shop to sell noodles. And he knew education was the way out of poverty. So he wanted all his children to get an education. Unfortunately, World War II started when my father was in 4th grade, so that kind of destroyed his dream. So after 3 years and 8 months, the war ended, and my father was too old to go back to school. So they looked at me and my brother and my sister to fulfill their dream. So I would always ask the question, how did I end up in Mizzou? In the late 60s, I was having a great old time in Southern California. I was surfing, listening to music, walking barefoot in the park, and then a few other things that I cannot mention because my son is here. Okay, so one day I had a philosophical discussion with my friend from the high school, and the question was, what should we do if we want to finish our college education? And we came to the conclusion that we had to leave California and go somewhere so we could study without all the distraction. So we opened the book, the map of United States, and Missouri seemed to be in the middle of the country. So we decided, let's go to Missouri. Well, knowing nothing about Missouri, so we went to the library. We went to the college catalog section. For those of you youngsters here, you probably never heard of a college catalog. So we figured, well, there was a University of California, so there must be a University of Missouri. So we looked it up, we applied, and later we were accepted. Since I had never been to the Midwest, I asked one of my co-workers at that time, we were janitor in the hospital, and he hitchhiked all the way across the country. I asked him, what is like in Missouri? And he told me, well, the Missourians did not drive car, they rode horses. And I said, cool, I love horseback riding. So on a warm August summer day, we left California to come to Mizzou. So you heard of the traffic in California, and it was real, even at that time. I missed my flight from Los Angeles to St. Louis, but my friend got on the original flight. So I was late getting to St. Louis. So I didn't make it to Columbia Regional Airport until almost midnight. And what do I know, right? I figure, well, I just spent the night at the airport. By the airport, there must be a hotel like Hilton. Well, I was wrong. And eventually, I made my way to downtown Columbia. The taxi dropped me off outside the downtown hotel on Broadway. You know where the downtown hotel is. And I walked in, and the hotel clerk told me, sorry, we have no room for you, because you have no reservation, and this is the evening before the school start. And here I was, after midnight, hot, humid, tired, walking down Broadway. He told me to try the Tiger Hotel. So I walked west on Broadway. After about 2 blocks, I couldn't walk anymore. And I looked around, and I saw this hotel sign on my right. So I walked up to this hotel. Fortunately, they had a room for me. And that was the cheapest hotel I ever stayed in. $6.50 for the night and 50 cents extra for the bathroom. And they had no air conditioning, but they did have a box fan by the window. And I couldn't understand why the innkeeper asked me if I want a bathroom in my room. So the next morning I woke up, I checked into the university dormitory, and I started looking for my friend that came before me. I couldn't find him, so I called back to California and make sure I had the correct information. When I called back, guess who answered the phone? I said, why aren't you here? He told me he went to St. Louis. He took a look, didn't like it, so he turned around and went back to California. So that's when I told myself I was going to finish my undergraduate school and then head back to California. I finished my undergraduate school in chemistry in 1973. And it just so happened there was the first oil embargo, and the economy in this country was bad. I could not find a job. And Dr. Walter Myers, head chairman of the nuclear engineering department at that time, had pity on me. He offered me a quarter-time teaching assistantship to go into a new program that they were developing called medical physics. I knew nothing about it. I figured, well, it has something to do with medical. So I should be able to get a job as an X-ray tech after this. So I said yes. So I stayed instead of going back to California. So the program started with 3 students. And one of the students turned out to be my roommate's brother. We didn't know that at that time, but when school started, we figured that out. So after 1 year, I asked Dr. Lee if it's possible for me to go to the hospital and learn how to take X-ray. And they said no. But he did offer me a summer job at the health physics department. So a year later, I finished a degree, a master's degree, and one of my classmates and I decided the university had really old equipment, the radiation therapy department. We need to learn about the new equipment that were being pushed out by the vendor. So we went to MD Anderson Hospital in Houston. We took a 2-week intensive classes on medical physics. It was 12 to 15 hours a day for 2 weeks. After that, we both got a job from Allegheny Hospital in Pittsburgh. So we went there and worked as medical physicists. And a year later, I was offered the opportunity to come back to Mizzou to work at the radiation therapy department and also pursue my PhD. I did that. 4 years later, I was accepted by the American Board of Radiology to take the board exam in diagnostic and therapeutic physics. I passed the month before I got my PhD. And I became one of the few medical physicists at that time that was certified by American Board of Radiology. With that, I moved back to California. I was recruited by City of Hope. I was there to work. And because of the experience I have, I had no problem getting a job. So, in conclusion, I would say that because of education I got from Mizzou, I had a great time, had a good career, and I play a small part in the team to help all the patients that we encounter. And to end this, I'd like to thank my wife, my children, and my parents who got me here. Thank you.
Amazing story. And I will say the first time I went to visit with Andrea in California, I got to see Jim's license plate, all of his Mizzou t-shirts, all the other stuff. So he's a walking billboard for Mizzou. Thank you, Jim, for investing in our students and inspiring our fellow alumni and friends. I'd like to share a quote, because, at the end of the day, big gifts are important. We like to talk about them, but it's really about the impact. And I'd like to share a quote from a current Liu-Him Scholarship recipient, Lucy Troike. Lucy wishes she could be here today, but she's currently taking an exam. Lucy writes, "When I opened the email with my financial aid offer, I actually started sobbing. The scholarship covered all of my tuition, fees, and books. But it also meant that I could take out less loans and not have to rely on financial aid from my parents. This scholarship has meant so much to me, and I'm forever grateful to you, the Liu family. And that's really what it's about today. I want to just improvise briefly to say, one of the amazing things about endowment is, I've said this before, but 100 years from now, Jim, when we're all gone and many buildings on this campus will be gone, that endowment, your endowment, will still be helping students, inspiring students, and making your grandfather proud. So please join me in thanking Jim and the family again. Lastly, I'd like to take just a second to talk about the latest gift, because Andrea and all of us and our planned giving team worked with Jim. We often think of gifts of only cash donations, and Jim gave some of those as well, but there's gifts of different kind. A charitable remainder trust provides donors income each year for a specific length of time. Without getting into too much detail, the Lius recently provided proceeds from a sale of a piece of real estate to create a charitable remainder trust. And it was interesting to work with California law and Missouri law. Jim alluded to this, but our gift planning and regional advancement team does a tremendous job of helping donors create mutually beneficial gifts such as these. This gift was truly a group effort, including advancement, the treasurer's office, the general counsel's office, and MU's real estate. And Jim, thank you for hanging in there with us. We learned a lot through this gift. This is a great day for Mizzou and a great day start to our donor recognition event or weekend. And I want to remind all of our volunteers that we are starting our meeting at 9:45 promptly, so we'll join you in there. But please join me one more time in thanking Jim and Melinda. And we'll close with MIZ. Thank you, thank you.